I'd like to invite Ms. Jesslyn Yeen, a Google developer expert with over 10 years of experience, all the way from Malaysia, for her session on building a fast, SEO-friendly SPA with Angular.
Good morning, everyone. So today I'm going to share about how to build a fast and performance SEO-friendly SPA with Angular. So the example that I'm going to use is NGMY, which is the same conference but happened in Malaysia. Okay, so I see everyone is like not so energized yet, so please don't fall asleep. So I think this is the correct words in Sinhala? Correct, right? Because I find a friend to translate, I'm not sure whether he give me the right translation or not. Okay, so a little bit about me. My name is Jesslyn. I'm from Malaysia, and currently I work as a software architect and a GDE for Angular. Okay, so this is the photo of NGMY happens in Malaysia. And if you wonder, this is an orangutan. It's not a monkey. It traveled with me all over the conference. So it has been to NGConf, Angular, some others Angular conference as well. So later on, if you want to take a photo with it, feel free to come to me. Okay, so if you open the ng-my website, this will be the website. And for this talk, I will talk about how we build it and how we make it to be performance and SEO friendly. Okay, so this is how the talk will be structured. First, I'll talk about the background, and then I'll talk about the how we do the SEO, and then the collaboration, because this project is built not just by me, but with my two other friends. And then we'll talk about performance. Good? Okay, let's go. Okay, first, a little bit background of the project. So, because the conference is a budgeted conference, as it is a community conference, so everyone loves free stuff, right? And we don't have enough money. That's why the target cost of the project is 0. Okay, and so far we hit it except for the domain, because we need to purchase the domain, right? Okay, but so far the hosting and the database, everything is free. So this is how we do it. First, we do it as a SPA. We didn't do server-side rendering because SPA is easier for deployment. In our case, is enough. So we use SPA. And then we use Firebase hosting, which is free to host our project. And then we didn't use any database because our data is quite small. Imagine that we have all the speaker data is quite static, and all the sessions information is quite static as well. So we didn't use any database. And then this is not related to the performance, but we start the project with blank. What do I mean by we start the project with blank? So normally when we create a new project, we'll run ng new and then pass in the project name. But in this case, instead of run ng new, pass in the application name, I pass in another flag called -- create application, which is false. What it do is create a project directory, but without the default project itself. Why do I do that? Because I know that I will do that annual conference. So that's why I want it to be able to structure, like every year will be a new folder and a new project itself. Then the second line I run is ng generate application site 2019. So next year I will generate another one called site 2020. Make sense? Okay, so if you want to create multiple projects in the same project, you can use this instead of create a default project in your project. Okay, next, because this project we do it more than one person, so we have a design person as well. So some of the changes, we don't want to keep deploying to Firebase or keep checking in our code, because it's just a fast prototyping to see how the UIs will look. So this is what we use. We use Netlify, which is free as well. So the good thing about Netlify is it has this, you can just drag and drop. After you build a project, you can just drag and drop, and then it will upload to a server and then give you a URL. Then you can share among the teams. So to see is the prototype, is the UI okay? And it doesn't cost anything. So you can just try it. It's very easy to use. Okay, next talk about SEO. Okay. Okay, why do you want to do SEO? Because I want when people go to Google about NGMY, I want the title to show up correctly and all the links that we have show up correctly as well. And beside that, we need to support social media sharing as well. So when you copy and paste the URL to any social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, or any others, I want it to be able to show an image of the image that I chose, and then the headers and the description correctly. So then you get to go to the correct link. So these are the minimum meta tag that will make the SEO works. So there are meta tag for OG URL, which is for Facebook. There are meta tag for Twitter as well. So if you want Twitter specific tag, these are all the minimum tag that in order for your SEO to work. And also the title tags is for your sharing, the header of the sharing. So in Angular, this is how we do it. We create a service called page service. Then in the constructor, we inject the title service and the meta service. Title and meta service is something provided by Angular to us so that we can update the title and update the meta tag. Okay, then we have a set page meta functions with which receive a title, meta tag, and meta images. Then in these functions, we'll update the title. So in every page of the ng on init functions, it will call this one. So then we pass in all the relevant information to update the meta tag. Okay. Next, in order for the SEO to work, usually we have robot.txt. So what is robot.txt? It's a file before the crawler try to crawl your website. The bot will first go and read this robot.txt file to understand what is the instruction that you give it. So for example, we have two websites. One is for the development, one is for the productions. For development, we don't want any SEO because we don't want any bot to crawl it because it's the development website for us only. But for productions, we allow the crawling and we give it the instruction, for example, when should you crawl the website, probably during the midnight or others. You can give any instruction that you want in robot.txt. So in this case, what we do is we have two robot.txt. One is for the dev, another one we call it robots.prod.txt because basically it's different configurations. So in Angular, how do we do it? First, we need to include this file in our distribution folder. So this is how we do in your angular.json file. You put in the asset and say that during the asset, please include robot.txt as the output. Then, the next thing that you need to do is when you build it, you need to give it instructions. So in this case, I'm saying that during the production build, please replace the file called robot.txt, the content of robot.txt, with robot.prod.txt. So then when you build, when you run the command ng-prod, it will replace the content of the file. Okay, but this doesn't just restrict to production build. So let's say you have staging build, probably have others content that you want to replace, probably not robot.txt but others file. So what you can do is you can use this -c command. You pass in ng build -c the configurations. In this case is productions because my configuration is production. But if you're staging, you just put in staging and then it will do you will replace the file as you instructed. Okay? Okay, so then now we already set like the title, we update the title, update the meta tag, and update the robot.txt. Is that work? Does that work? When we share this URL to the social media, does that already work? So you might find that it's actually not working. So when you share the URL, copy and paste it to Facebook, for example, it just show you the header and the description, but it doesn't show the image. Why is this happening? So why is there a problem in SPA for the SEO? So when the server send the HTML to the client, this is how it should look like. So Angular, after it builds, it will bundle all your JavaScript files into a few files. So the format probably something like this. And in your body, probably there's nothing else yet. Only when the browser receives this file, then it will run your bundle, and then because the code that we write just now is in the client side, so it will execute the JavaScript and then update the title and the meta tag that we already set. We already write the command. But most of the crawler, including the Facebook bot, only understand the part that the server sent out. Because when the server send out the file, it assumes that the process already finished. So it's take a snapshot and that's it. So how can we solve this problem? Because we need to be able to have SEO for the social media. So in this case, our solution is using pre-rendering during build time. So we pre-render our website during the build time. So what is pre-rendering and how does the process look like? So let's say we will run, when we build the project, we'll run ng-build-prod, and then the process will generate out the index.html file, JavaScript and CSS file that we write. So this is normal, right? And the third step, imagine that this is the step that you need to do manually. After all the file created, you need to start the local browser and then open it. And then go to each of the route that you have, for example, ng-ny.org/session/speaker. Wait for each of the page, load it completely, and then you right-click, save the whole files as HTML, and put it the title. So imagine that you yourself repeat this step manually for all the route that you have. And then you deploy this HTML file together with all the others Angular generated file to the server. So the next time when the client asks for example, speaker.html, it will go to the file that you manually created just now instead of waiting for the JavaScript to respond. So this is one of the way you can do it. But of course, we are programmer, we are developer, we are not going to do this manually. So this process, the generating of static HTML, is something we call pre-rendering. So instead of manually do it, we can automate it with Puppeteer, for example. So Puppeteer is an open source library by the Chrome. It's actually something like a programmable Chrome browser that you can give it instructions to pre-rendering your website. So after you install Puppeteer, this is how you can use it. First, you import Puppeteer, and then you wait the Puppeteer to launch. Basically, Puppeteer is your Chrome browser. So go to the browser constant, and then you wait the browser to open like a new tab, to open a new page, so that later on, after you open a new page, what you need to do, you need to type in the URL. So you can give it a command, say that please wait until I go to this URL. For example, in this case, I go to the food route, and then you pass in the command, say please wait until there's no network connections anymore. So wait for all the JSON file or others API, the request completed, and then you wait for the content, which is the HTML. So now you get the HTML. What do you do next? You are going to save it. So you get the files, the FS, and then you save it as a file, and then you close the browser. Imagine you loop for each of the route that you have, and then run the similar code, and then save it the HTML. So this is how you can automate the step. So instead of do that manually, now we can program the Puppeteer and then browse and then save each of the route as HTML. But we can do better because still a lot of code that we need to write. So instead of doing that, we can extend the Angular CLI to pre-render it. And because Angular CLI under the hood is using Webpack. So if it's using Webpack, means probably someone else have developed some plugin which you can use. So you don't need to write the code just now, which is has. So so first, if you want to extend Angular CLI or Webpack, this is the packet that I use. It's called Angular Bundle / Custom Webpack. So once you extend that, you can use some general Webpack plugin that are available. So in this case, I'm using pre-render SPF plugin, which is available online in NPM. So you can install that. Okay, so then you need to create a file and name it any name. So in this case, I name it extra-webpack.config.js because it's an extra configuration for me. So here, what I will do is I will import the plugin that I installed just now. And then I define all the routes that I want it to be pre-rendered as an array. Then in here, I would say that please use the plugin called pre-render SPA plugin, and then export all the, so it will, in this pre-render SPA plugin is actually using Puppeteer under the hood, but just that we don't need to write the code that I write just now. So you say that please save all the generated HTML file to site 2019, and these are all the routes. Please just run through it. That's all you need to write. Easier compared to just now. Okay, there's one more step because now we are saying that we want to run the custom webpack. So you need to update the Angular JSON to tell it that, oh, I want to run this extra webpack.config.js file. If you want to know how to do that, just go to the library, the GitHub page, the README, it will tell you how to do it, just a one-liner changes. Okay. Next, sitemap. When you develop your website, sitemap is still necessary for SEO because it tells the browser how many pages that your website has. Okay, and the solution for us to generate the sitemap automatically in our website is the similar thing. So we extend the webpack and Angular webpack CLI. Then we generate the sitemap. So this is how we do it. You need to install the create file webpack plugin, which allows us to create a file. Then in that file, we import the create file webpack plugin. And the same thing, we have all the routes. And then we are saying that please save the sitemap.xml. Please create a file called sitemap.xml and then save this file in this folder. And then what is the content? The content is, this is the function that I custom write it. Basically, it's, I think, less than 10 lines, is to generate the XML file based on the route that we have. So if you are interested, you can go to this direct link to see how the functions look like. So then after you complete all the steps, now your page is SEO ready. And then we also want to monitor whether our page, what is the performance. When people search for NGMY, is that rank number 1 or number 10 or number 20? So you need to monitor that using Google Search Console or Bing Webmaster Too. Then if you want to put in some money for advertisement, you can do so based on the performance you have. Okay, next, talk a little bit about collaborations. I'm going to show you like this photo. So these are my two ex-colleagues. 3 of us work together. So in this project, we need to work together, but independently because we work on different time. And we want to put in some code standards. So we need to make sure that all the code we check in must pass the linting that we set. And then we want some CI/CD for our project as well, so that everyone check in, the CI/CD will get triggered, run the linting, and then deploy if successful. So this is how the flows look like. First, for every features that we build, we'll create a feature branch. Okay, then we'll commit it locally. Wherever we commit the changes locally, it will trigger the linting. So how we do that? We automate that with something called Husky. Anyone use Husky here? Okay, good. Okay, so this is how you can install Husky. You run npm install -d Husky. Basically, Husky is something like a hook that you can set. So if you are using Git, GitHub, or anything with Git, you can in your package.station, you just set Husky, and you say that before the commit, I want to run the linting. If the linting process is not successful, then please do not commit. So you can set this hook in the pre-commit or pre-push. So if pre-commit is too frequent, you can set it to pre-push as well. So it means someone before they push the code, you must run the linting in your local. Okay, so this enforce best practices, and all the code that we check into GitHub is better. Okay, then this is the flow when we complete the feature development. We'll create a PR, and then when PR approved, we'll merge it to master branch directly. And then when we merge to master branch, it will trigger a build and then trigger deployment. So for this step, we automate with Travis CI. The good thing about Travis CI is if your project is public, means it's free for you. So we use DCI CD and it's free. So it's very easy to set up. You just go to Travis CI, the website, and then you link it with your GitHub account. Then after that, you need to create a travis.yml file. So this basically is the file that tell Travis how to build your project. So in this case, I'm saying that this project, the language is Node.js, JavaScript, and then the important thing is here, the branch. I'm saying that only when our checklist is master branch, then you need to trigger the process. So before our script run, we need to install the Firebase tool because we need to use the Firebase tool to deploy it to Firebase because we use Firebase hosting. But for you, if you are using Azure, you need to install some Azure tools here. And then this is the script that we run. We run yarn deploy and then pass it the Firebase token. So this yarn deploy script basically will trigger the build, and if the build successful, it will trigger the deployment. Then our website will be updated. Okay. Next, last one, I'm going to talk about performance. Performance is a very long topic itself. I think everyone have the experience on browsing slow website. So if the website is something that you need to browse and you cannot run away, for example, government websites or other website that you must run it, then this is your face, you cry, but you still run it. But if let's say it's something like e-commerce, like buying stuff, probably you just run away and buy in another website. So performance is important for the company business, but the more important thing is performance help you to create a pleasant browsing experience for your users. And page speed matter to SEO page ranking. When your page is a public space facing website, for example, e-commerce, it's extremely important that your page speed to run fast because Google's and other bots does take the speed as one of the considerations to rank your web page. So this is the research done by HTTP Archive on the average page weight in mobile. So as you can see, image is the highest because image take a lot of data, and then JavaScript, fonts, CSS, and HTML. So you might be surprised font is number 3 because font file is actually quite big. Okay, before we can improve the performance, first we need to know how our page perform now. So we measure and then we improve it. So in this case, there are a few tools that can help you to do the measurement. You can use Lighthouse. Lighthouse is come with your Chrome browser, or you can install the npm package to run it. PageSpeed Insight, which is a website. So if you type PageSpeed Insight, you can go to this you will open this website. Then you pass in any URL that you want to analyze. Can be your website or can be some other person's website. And then you can see how the page score. So in this case, of course, because I'm doing presentation, I need to make sure that my page performance is good. So in the mobile, it's 94% score, which is pretty good. It's green color. And then in desktop, the score is 100%. So why is mobile and desktop performance is different? Because mobile has the engine itself, the mobile, like the mobile is usually less power than the desktop. And the last one you can use is web page test. So choose either tools that you need to use and then start measure your website performance. And the good thing about Lighthouse and PageSpeed Insights is it gives you some steps that you can follow to enhance the performance of your page. So this is what I'm going to talk about performance. I'm going to talk about how to improve the performance of images because it's cost the most weight. And then talk about font, Angular and JavaScript, CSS, and then others step that we can take. So images. So let's say you have limited data, probably just 1 gig, and then you browse to this website, e-commerce website, that just one page is cost you 5 MB of data. So this is how your data plans phase look like. Is this serious? So why does this cost so much? So this is one of the sections of our website. We have articles sessions. So let's do a quiz here. This is a SVG, like this mini tiny white color icons. Can you guess? Shit. Okay, I should ask. Sorry. So I should ask. Actually, this is the question I want to ask you. Like, how big do you think is it? So the size of this is 32 KB. But now you think of it, do you think it's important? If I remove all the icons there, is that block your reading of any content? Yes? No? No, right? So if I remove all the icons, you can still read other content. So it's like for decoration purpose, but it's cost 32 KB. So imagine in my page, this little thing costs 32 KB, which means like the bigger image, it might cost even more. So this is not acceptable for me because it's just a tiny thing. So how can we optimize the performance of SVG? You can go to this website called SVG. Oh my God, because it's really, oh my God, it's open source by the Chrome team. So you can run it in the website, or you can install the npm package to automate some of your process as well. So if you open the website, you just drag the image into the browser, and then it will give you some options to optimize that. So then you download, then it will give you a more optimized version of your SVG. So why is SVG size sometimes so big, but just for a little thing? Because SVG is the syntax is like XML. It probably contains a lot of information that not necessary for display. For example, author's informations and some of the meta tag informations that's not relevant to display. So those of the information we can probably stripe it. So after doing some after drag it in and download the size, download the new file. This is the file size that we have from 32 KB. We strip it down to 2 KB. And 2 KB is the size that's not gzip yet. So after gzip, it's probably only like 800 plus byte. So it's very small. Try it on your page SVG, you'll see the difference. And then, another thing that you can do for images is you use WebP format for your image. So WebP is something like PNG but smaller. So now the popular format of image is JPEG and PNG. So why sometimes we use PNG instead of JPEG? Because we want the image to have transparent background. JPG doesn't support that, but PNG support that. So WebP support transparent background. In general, WebP is 25 to 35% smaller compared to the same quality JPEG or PNG. And WebP is supported by the most popular browser except Safari. But this three browser itself accounted for 78% global user, which means you can improve the performance of 78% of the user. So there's a way for us to support WebP but still support PNG if the user browser doesn't support it. So just to give you a sense of how much data it can save. So this is our page. So there's two big image here. One is the cup, one is the prata. Okay, so if it's a PNG, it's 119 KB. But if we save it as WebP, the same quality is only cost 28 KB. And for this we call it roti canai in Malaysia, but I know it's called differently here. So for PNG it's 278 KB, but for WebP it's only 30 KB, the same quality. You can see how much data you can save, right? Okay, so instead of using just img tag, we can use the picture tag. So how we do it is, as a developer, we probably have a little bit more jobs to do because we need to generate one more format called WebP now. But the generations process is quite easy. I will show you later how. So you use the picture tag. Picture tag is like a container, and then in the image source, you put in PNG, but you put in something more. Say that you have a source and the type is WebP, and you put in your WebP file format. Once you do this, it means that for the browser that understand WebP, if it will just load the first line, and then it won't load your PNG file. It will just load the WebP. But if the browser like Safari doesn't support WebP, it will just ignore the line and then load the PNG file. Okay, so if you browse NGMY website in Safari, the size is bigger, probably slower. But if you browse it with Chrome or Microsoft Edge, it's much faster. Next, about image compressions. There's two types of compressions that we have. One is lossless, which means doesn't lose anything. So you can see the image is still very clear. But for lossy, which means that we sacrifice some of the quality of the image in order to have a smaller image. So the tricky point is, what are the quality, how much quality that we can sacrifice to reduce the file size, because smaller file size means faster speed, right? And then still remain okay for the user to view. Can we set the quality to 0? Or we set the quality to 100, then the file size will be too big. If we set the quality to 0, black and white, we can save a lot of data, but then it's not very useful. So the general guideline for this is, you set the quality to 80%, and for most of the images, if you reduce the quality to 80 to 85%, the file size will reduce by 30 to 40%. And it has actually minimal effect on image quality. So you just test on it and see how it goes. To give you an example, so in our website, we have these big background images. So for lossless image is 495 KB, but we reduce the quality to 80%, is 180 KB. And you can see that probably the difference for me is not very obvious. But for you, probably there are some minor, if you are very good in visual, probably you spot some minor difference, but it's okay for me in this case. Okay? Okay, so okay, so I think I cannot finish all the content that I have, but I have a recorded versions in let me open this. Come down. So my times is up. All right. So some of the contents, because I have actually repeat this talk for number 10 time now. Okay. So you can see, if you want to see the source code, you can go to this GitHub to see the source code. If you want the slide, it's here. And if you want to see the video of the continuous content that I cannot cover today, go to this URL. And if you want to follow this orangutan status, because it has its own Instagram account, you can follow it at ngmykia Instagram, or follow me in Twitter. That's all. Thank you.